So hi everyone, my name is Federico, and this is Cuttle's weekly live stream. I mean, we've made a lot of ornaments, and it's, but I have a couple of tools that I want to show you that just got added to Cuttle that is going to make the process of making ornaments and earrings and keychains a little bit easier. Plus, we have the Noun project also added to Cuttle, which creates a lot of possibilities. So let's do it. It's August, and I know a lot of people are getting ready for Christmas. So I'm gonna try and do some like kind of Christmassy, not Christmas. I'm gonna make some Christmas ornaments. So let's get started. So I have an untitled project here, just blank project, so we can start from scratch. So I'm going to show you first what I'm going to do, and then we can structure it nicely as a template. But let me do it. Let me show you where I'm going with these. So let's start with a Christmas ornament, or just an ornament. I'm going to name my project. So the base of all of these is going to be an emoji component. So I'm going to drag an emoji here from the left. And with the emoji, you can, of course, select any emoji that you want. But we also have this Noun project option where we can type a search term and then look for something interesting like an angel, for example. So this one takes a little bit more searching for the different things, but then we have like a lot of angels to choose from. I know angels can be popular, so I'm gonna try this one. And so that brings that angel right into our canvas. And the operations I want to do to this angel are something like these. So I want to keep a sort of base angel. So it's just going to be my engraving. Then I want to duplicate that one. So I'm going to right click and duplicate. And then on that duplicate, I want to expand it or create an offset. So I'm going to go to offset here. So that becomes kind of like my outline that I'm going to cut. And then that offset one, I wanted to have no fill. And I want to assign a red color for the stroke. So that's like my cut. So that's like my basic idea. And then I want to add a hole to it. And so the thing that is kind of really easy to do now with Cuttle, like in the past, we had this situation where we would grab a circle and do all these things where we would change the circle to a hairline or something like that, and change the alignment to outer, and then we would flatten it or something like that. But things are easier now. If I select the shape that I want to add a hole to, I can go to this modify menu over here, and then if I go down here to advanced, there is an option that says add hole. So if I do that, you'll see that it immediately added a hole, and then that comes with a number of parameters that I can change here. So I have a placement option. By default is -45, just to kind of like tell you, you might want to change that. So that's in degrees. That means, 0 degrees, it would be the complete top. Then, 180 would be at the bottom. 90 would be like over here. But, in this case, we probably want 0. And here we can select the hole size and everything. But like the cool thing about the add hole is that it does all of that, and it immediately joins it to the shape. And then, of course, we can change the size and the thickness. And probably this would be a tiny ornament, so I would want to change the scale and whatnot. But that's the basic idea. So I want to do this in a sort of more organized fashion, because the way I just did it, it might be nice and quick. But if I were to make any changes, then, for example, the scale, if I make this like 3 inches, I need to do it on all the things that I just did. And then if I were to change the emoji on one of them, like let's say I want to choose a different one, then I would have to change it on both of the shapes that duplicated. So that is what, and then I have to find it. Okay, So this is what I want to sort of do better. Oh, also look at that. If I select that one, I need to remove the holes. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna delete these and start from scratch as if I'm kind of building a template. So let's start with the emoji again. I wanna scale it. I wanna say that it's roughly 3 inches, the size of an ornament. So I'm gonna type here on the scale 3, press enter. Then I definitely wanna extract the emoji as a parameter. So I can click the 3 dots and extract it as a project parameter. I'm just gonna call it the shape because it's not an emoji anymore. Or it could be, but I'm gonna stick with this angel. What's a cool angel here? I don't know. This one. And then I'm gonna change this to black for the fill. And I think I wanna be a bit organized with it. I could do it all in here, but I wanna be more organized. So I'm gonna call this component the shape, and I'm gonna create a new component where I'm gonna add the operations. So I want that shape to be right in the center. And then I just wanna double check that things are working. If I change the shape here, yeah, I get a different angel, that's good. The angel of money. And then to this, I'm gonna apply the offset modifier or expand. And to this shape, I'm gonna do all the things I did before. I'm gonna change the fill to no fill. I'm gonna change the stroke to red. So it's a cut. And what I realized is that if you choose certain, let's see if I can see, if I choose that one, the offset actually leaves some holes in place. So I want to remove the holes. So I'm going to apply the go to modifier, and then there's one here all the way at the bottom called remove holes. So that creates just like a blank slate where I can cut, and then I can drag my shape back in. That's just going to be the engraving. So now if I change the emoji or the shape that I chose, then it should propagate. So it would create the offset and everything. So yeah, that's what I was looking for. So now let's add the hole, like the heart. So now I can go back to the modifier menu here. Oh, let me select the shape. I need that outside shape, and go to advanced and add hole. So let's make it pretty. So I want the hole placement to be 0. One thing I didn't mention is that there is an option with Add Hole to have an outer hole, which I think is the one that looks nicer with Christmas ornaments. But you can have an inner one too. So that places the cut on the inside. So for this use case, there are very few things that are going to work with that. Maybe it's like a star. Let's see, I could search for Christmas star. Star ornament. I've noticed that some of them come with like a little loop, like this one. Yeah, no, that's still kind of even hard to make work. But anyway, the idea is that sometimes if they're too big, we get a little warning. I don't know, I was thinking maybe like this one. So yeah, that one has like a little, the shape itself has like a hole, and then you would have to, it doesn't work. It's not ideal, but anyway, you should know that the inner option is there. So anyway, let's go back to something more Christmassy. Okay. So what I want to do now is that I want to extract all the parameters for the add hole, because that's nice to expose it to the user. So I'm going to go here to the README, and I'm going to add that component that I have. So it kind of looks, template-like. I can switch to simplified view, so it's like super simple. And so then the choice here is to choose your symbol or shape, and then it should work with any one of these. But I want to have the option to change the whole characteristics. I'm gonna keep the change. So yeah. So I can click here on the modifier, and then I can extract all of these. I can go to the three dots and extract as project parameter. Same with the size, and same with the thickness. So now they're just exposed here, and if I look at the README, they're exposed here, so I can like change that. I think this placement is useful in this case because some of the shapes are not strictly symmetric. Something like that. So you might want to change the placement so they dangle in the way that you want. The other kind of nice thing to do is to put them in a folder. So I can click on the plus here. Oh, sorry, no. I can click on the three dots, and I can create a new parameter folder, and I can name it. I'm gonna call it the whole options. And to stick all of these parameters in there, I just need to drag them inside of the folder. And of course, I can reorder. No, that's good. But I could reorder them if I want to. So now, if you look at the README, they are just kind of nicely tucked into that folder. So I think that would give you a lot of options for different ornaments. That one might not work. Except for Christmas angel. Maybe there's some. Ooh, this one's cool. A little elaborate, but kind of cool. Okay, the next thing I want to add to this ornament is some text, because like, what would we do if we don't add some text? And I think it's relatively easy because I can go back to the shape, and I'm gonna use another trick. So notice that like, any shape that I choose is not always gonna land in the same spot, meaning like the bottom can change a little bit. And so, but I want the text to be always sort of there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some text, some regular text, and I'm gonna assume this is gonna be an engraving. And I'm gonna give it a black fill, so it's engraved. And let me change the text to say something like my name. And so now, because I added it to the shape, then if I go to this component here, then I could call the cut. You'll see that it applied that offset, but I want it to be touching the shape. So in order to always guarantee that it's touching, I can select both of these, and then there is another modifier called attach. And so that one ensures that the shapes are always sort of touching each other. So I can select that modifier. But importantly, this modifier works in such a way, let's look at the options, that it chooses the direction. So the default is closest, but we might not want closest because, as you can see, let me undo it. The closest point between these two shapes is the D right now, the top of the D. So when the attach modifier is enabled, that's the point that gets attached. But with text, that might create like a, it offsets it it will offset it to one side. So I need to change the direction to vertical. So that way, the distance that it moves is always on the vertical axis. But I might not want to touch it perfectly, so the attach modifier has this option called distance. So sometimes you can include extra distance, so if you want things touching more, but you can also make that distance negative if you want things to be attached but a little separated. Notice that when I change the distance, it moves vertically because I have selected vertical. If I do closest, it's going to move in a sort of weird diagonal. So we want the vertical. And something like that. So I just want it to be touching enough that the offset kind of makes sense. So let me make, something like that. And maybe I want that offset to be a bit bigger. Yeah, that looks good. So now I want to extract the text as a parameter. Let's go back here, extract as project parameter, call it the name. We probably want to add the font as well. Oh, let's make sure things are working. Yeah, that's good. We probably want to extract the font. I'm gonna go here. So I'm gonna extract this project parameter. Yeah, I could call it a name font. One question is, can you use weld and score with attach? Yes, yes you can. I don't know if weld and score makes sense in my example here, but I could show you. Yeah, why not? Let's take a quick. So if I have two shapes, like these two, and I apply the attach modifier to those, which is down here, I'm blocking it. And then I add a little distance, so they're kind of overlapping. Then on top of that, I can do weld and score. So yeah, there it is. And I can even change the distance, and the weld and score should still apply. Yeah, cool. Thanks for the question. So I'm gonna delete that. And then I want to choose a font that is more like Christmassy. And one trick is, it's not a trick, but sometimes I like to look at the fonts, the Google fonts, because all the free fonts on Cuttle are Google fonts. So they have this kind of cool browser where, like, here on the left, there are some filters. And they have a Christmas filter. So that shows me a lot of different fonts that are like kind of Christmas. And you can add other filters. Like, let's say you want Christmas plus playful. So Christmas and playful, there are some options here. This one is funny. Like, I like this one. So this is like a quick way to browse those fonts. I like this bonbon. Okay, so let's try that one. And then an additional feature that we can use with Cuttle is that we can add a little thickness to that. So I can click on show more options. And I think I want to thicken it a tiny bit, just so the engraving makes sense. Cool. So I think that's that would be the basic idea for the just kind of Christmas ornament. But I think the same formula applies. Let's say if you want to make earrings. So I'm gonna do another project, or should I modify this one? No, let's do another one. Yeah. So I'm gonna do file new. So same operations. I want an emoji component. I guess this might work as a recap. Then I want to extract these as project parameter. I'm going to call it the shape. Then I can change that to say, let's say I want to make like some Halloween earrings. Let's look for a crow. There are a bunch of crows to choose from. I think this one is cute. I want the scale to be, about an inch and a half. Yeah, I think an inch and a quarter. So then because I want to keep this simple, I'm just going to do it all in the same component. So I could make these an engrave. Then I can duplicate actually this shape in here, not necessarily a component, but as long as these is referring to the same, and I know it's referring to the same because here it says shape, and here it also says shape. So let's make that one into the one that has the offset. Expand. Let's get rid of the fill. Let's add a stroke. So it's red. That looks good. And then I like this one. And let's add the hole for the earring. So on this shape, I'm gonna go to modify advanced and add hole. And probably for an earring, you want something much smaller. So let's make the placement something like this. And something like that. The added thing here for the earring is that sometimes you wanna print like mirror copies of it, because like right now I could like simply let's call this the cut. I could drag 2 versions of these, but sometimes you might want it flipped. So the quick flip here would be to grab one of them, place it here, and then apply the mirror repeat modifier. So I'm going to go to modify, and mirror repeat. Maybe it could be closer. So that could be like a quick earring maker with no text. Oh yeah, look at that. I definitely need to use the remove holes, because otherwise it creates that weird artifact. I always forget to do that. Modify, remove holes. And I probably want to, this is an interesting mistake I just made. If I remove the holes, it removes the hole from the added hole. So that means I need to change the order in which the modifiers are applied. So I need to grab these one, remove holes, and place it first. So the holes get removed first, but then the new hole gets added. So here we go. And here we have our like simple earring. The other kind of formula that applies to these would be like making a keychain with an icon. So let's do it again. I think I can do this in 5 minutes, or the time I have left. So I'm gonna create a new project. And so I guess I'm gonna change it a little bit. I'm gonna combine text and the emoji, but in a different way. So I think I want the emoji to be here, sort of on the right. On the left of the text. But I want the text. Well, actually, maybe I should add the text first. So let's add the text. So I want text that is left aligned, because every time I type something here, like my name, it's gonna grow to both sides of the center, because it's center aligned. But if I change it to left aligned, notice that now the reference point is the left, and whenever I type anything, it will grow towards the right. So I want text to grow in that fashion, and then I want an emoji attached to it. So like here. And then I want to create the offset for that. So let's do it one step at a time. So I want just a name. So I want that. I'm going to make it so it's an engraving. So I'm going to give it a black fill. I want this shape to be also black. I want to extract the parameters so I can like customize it. So I'm going to extract the text as project parameter. I want to extract the emoji also as a project parameter. Call it the shape. That way I can change things here, like, and make this into a cat. That's the name of my cat. So that would be my basic engraving. So now I want to create the offset. So I'm going to create another component here. And so to create the offset, I'm going to grab my basic shape here. I'm going to apply all those operations that I've been applying before. So I want to offset it. maybe a little bit more. I want to remove the holes for sure. You can see some holes causing trouble. And I want these to have no fill. So, I mean, no fill, selecting this one. Then I want the stroke to be red, to be a cut. And then I want to bring back my engraving in place. So just to check that things are working, I can change my shape. Oh yeah, this is the part where I probably want to attach. I want to attach this one. So I could do that. So these two need the attach modifier, which is down here. Maybe I'll change the order so it is this shape that moves over. Oh, sorry. I need to change the direction to horizontal in this case. So the shape just moves horizontally. And then the distance, again, I want it like slightly negative, so it's not always touching the text. Here is I was changing these. So I changed this to horizontal and then this to. So that way, every time I changed my shape, it just kind of is near it, but not touching it. Okay, so back to this component. We need to add a hole. So I'm gonna do the same trick. Onto the shape that I expanded, I can go to modify and go to advance and then add hole. But in this particular instance, I want the hole to be on the left. So that would be -90. Yeah, minus 90 degrees. And that would be my basic keychain. So I can change the shape. I like this cap. Oh, this one's better. And then, yeah, maybe a few adjustments would be like, maybe I want the expand to be like 0.2. So, and then probably I want to expose the font and whatnot. What's a good kind of playful font? Playful, but not Christmas. This one is cool. Hannah Lee. Let's look at that font, and then that will be good. So this was like 3 projects with the same kind of parameters in one go. So let me go back to the text, expose the font, and then that would be, I'm going to choose the Hannah Lee. Hannah Lee? Yeah, that one. Oh, yeah, it looks like some bamboo. Yeah, and then I guess to finish it off, like, sometimes when you create projects like these, you want to add some recommended fonts. Just checking that things are working. Yeah. So last tip, recommended fonts, you would add them, like when you choose a font, you can go to the 3 dots, and then there's an option that says add font to recommended. So we chose that one. So that means when people are browsing, they click here on the font, and then they will see a list of recommended fonts over here. Cool. So this is the keychain. Call it the emoji keychain. No, there's one named that Noun project keychain. All right, cool. So that was half an hour. Hopefully that was informative. Mostly, I wanted to show you how to use the add hole and the attach modifiers, and just highlight the Noun project kind of options. All right, cool. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Please leave me any questions or comments that you might have. All right, bye.